So guys, it's been a few days since I posted last, which kills me. I usually hate going more than even a day without posting, but this weekend was crazy, and the parts I was really counting on showing up didn't. Even the parts I ordered weeks ago, for some reason, everything's deciding to show up tomorrow, which is kind of frustrating, but it's really good because that means this week is going to be a busy one. So not only can we finally make some big moves with this thing, we could get to work on the E36 and get that downpipe made. And I think me and Morfab have a pretty good idea on how we're going to make it work in a lot easier way than I think we all anticipated. So even though we don't have a bunch of crazy things from this Honda tonight, there is a few things we could do. One thing that did show up was the radiator. I actually had a really hard time trying to find a radiator that would work on this car. At least an OEM one, because doing a full custom radiator setup is pretty expensive. So finding a cheap aftermarket OEM style one was definitely the way to go. So I went nuts, absolutely insane, trying to find an OEM radiator that fit in here for two main reasons. It's really wide, but it's not that tall at all. Like you have like 12 inches. A stock 240 radiator is like 16, 18 inches tall. It's a big difference. We'd have radiators sticking out the hood. And no, I wasn't about to V-mount it. I don't have that much room. The other thing that kind of makes it weird is the fact that the inlet and outlet are on the same side. They're both on the passenger side, which yes, we could run a crazy hose like down and over and used a, typical cross-through style radiator, but I didn't want to have to. So after much research, I managed to find out that a Mark II Golf VR6 radiator was our best bet. This dinky little thing right here. So it's definitely not the biggest radiator in the world, nor the thickest, but it was the best fitting thing I could find, and it was cheap. All right, so the way this thing mounts is by these two little nipples on the bottom right here. That's how a lot of factory radiators mount. Nice and easy. Luckily, since Brian's a body guy, he was able to find these little rubber bushings right here off a junk car that we're able to use. So these things will actually sit. So all we have to do is make a pedestal that holds these that are on the existing frame rail. I was lucky, and last time we were at Logan Steel, I grabbed these things that were laying around because I thought we'd use them as tow hooks on our Subarus. That never happened. Playing around, I realized, take this. Ooh, literally meant to be, check it out. I was thinking about making some ones from scratch just to show you guys, but this is too convenient. I'm taking a Martha Stewart route and just hitting it with the pre-made. I'm gonna hit you guys with the Discovery Channel special. Before, after. All right, check this thing out, ready? How'd I get so lucky? So before I actually weld the thing to the chassis, let's just make sure it actually still fits. Ooh, okay. I guess I know how to use a tape measure. Super happy with that. The bottom mounts are made, now we gotta make sure this thing actually stays in place and doesn't just flap everywhere. So, as you guys can see, there's a little slit right here in the radiator that basically a piece of metal just slides into and then bolts to the radiator support. So all we really need is an L bracket that just kind of locks in right here, and we'll bolt it to the radiator support and we're good to go. Let's see what's in my toolbox so we can cut up and make work. That should do. All right, so they're in place, they look pretty good. I'm happy with it. So now I'm probably gonna put a little rubber shim between the two just so it's not metal on metal, but I'm stoked with it. And now we can actually utilize the factory radiator hoses because it sits in a very similar location as the factory S13 setup. So radiator is in, and B-Haul just got here off of work, so it's time to get to work on more of the rear end stuff because we got to notch the frame now for the upper camber arm. What's up, dude? What's up, man? Yo, these wheels look good on everything.
They look pretty hot.
Oh wow, we can get away with a pretty wide wheel in the rear. So we're just trying to figure out how high up the suspension is actually going to travel so we can notch the frame accordingly, because we don't want to over notch it if we don't have to. So, and obviously we don't want to under notch it. So B found out that the axle isn't going to hit, nor is the tow arm, but this arm right here, obviously there's no path for it. We're going to have to take a big chunk out. And that's why we reinforced the frame so we could do this.
Yeah, exactly.
Whoa, okay. I didn't realize you were mocking things up over here.
Dude, the other side's already marked up.
Dude, that's what we gotta cut out, huh?
Yeah.
I ain't scared.
No, neither am I. Synchronized jacking.
Cool, let's put this one in there instead.
Oh yeah! Woo! Oh! Yeah!
Look how perfect our little yeah! Yeah, see? We already made this. We're ready to go.
That's it. Yep. Glad we did that right there.
So now we get thrown our upper control arm, or our camber arm, as a lot of guys call it. We kind of have to put them in like backwards, the way our coilovers are. So these things. As you guys can probably tell, I do not have the correct hardware, but we're making do with what we got. Cool. All right, what do we got for clearance? How we looking? Ooh, it's actually looking pretty good. Oh, we gotta go night mode. It's a little tight in the front, but I think we're good.
Yeah, I mean, it definitely needs more in the front. Never mind all this chicken scratch.
Show them how we're gonna fit this wheel in here. Oh.
Nah, just kidding. But, I mean, that's where it sits right now. I mean, you can't even fit a tire in there, so that's pretty slammed.
All right, so we're just gonna notch a little bit more, mainly just for some room for comfort. I don't even think we need it. It's just to not have to worry about it at all. Right?
We're gonna do it more.
See how she fits. All right, plenty of room now. Now, as you guys can see, we're still missing one arm. This piece, we decided not to notch the mount on the subframe because it was so intrusive. We figured it'd be smarter to actually take the arm itself and make a new mounting point on the chassis. Because as you can see, we have plenty of room. It's like the perfect amount. So that's the next piece of the puzzle. But this is the arm that's gonna basically lock in the position of the hub and lock in the geometry of everything. So we wanna wait until we actually have a hub and everything fully bolted on so we can make sure the caster and everything is just perfect. That of which is coming in tomorrow. So all the stuff I need to finish up the rear, brakes, hub, rotor, everything shows up tomorrow. So it's perfect timing. So we'll get that on, mock it up, and hopefully we can get this thing in there ASAP. And all we have to do is figure out how we're gonna get these coilovers to sit correctly. And the rear is finally donezo after a bunch of bracing and reinforcing.
Sounds like a lot of work's left.
Yeah, it's a lot of work left. But the rear end of this whole thing, we've had to literally, there hasn't been one thing that just worked out here. We've had to literally recreate the car back here, and once the rear is done, it's gonna be a quick process, so be a little more patient with us. So I was hoping to come back strong with a more productive video for you guys, but today we got done as much as we could with what we had. So I figured, since I skimped you guys a little bit on content, I figured we'd give them a couple updates and maybe give them a secret.
Secret. And you do this all the time where you pretend like you have a secret and I'm supposed to know it.
Remember that thing I bought that's in the back that I took it off and it was on there before? Okay, let's give them the update and then I'll give them the secret so they watch the update.
Tell me the secret.
Well, let's do the update first.
What's the update on what?
I want to update your Mark II because everyone keeps asking about it.
Oh, okay, all right.
Okay, let's go check it out. As you guys know, the Mark II, it's been like the on and off like side project forever now, and basically we've just been collecting parts for it for like the last 4 months. Like it's just been one of those things. Like what we have to do now is basically most of the parts have almost showed up at this point. The last couple days have been like probably one of the heftiest days in part collections, right?
Yeah, for sure.
So we have to do basically the whole drive line. Brian got what, G60 knuckles, brakes, hubs, everything basically refreshed.
Yep.
Got a new axle. Got to go through and make sure everything, axle, trans, everything wise tight. We have to finish up the vacuum lines, PCV system, put hose clamps on everything, do fluids, do the exhaust, and then I think that's almost it.
Yep, it needs a fuel pump. I also got a pair of control arms. Got to put a belt on it. N75 valve. You said entire vacuum system, essentially.
But that's like an hour thing.
Yeah.
So literally we've been trying to like group everything so we could just like bang everything out in one weekend. And it's getting to that weekend.
Yeah, so, a lot of you guys have been saying like, we want to see working on this thing, or how come you guys never work on this? We actually do work on this. We just haven't been filming because it's just been here and there. And
I'm gonna say within the next 3 weeks, we're gonna have a solid weekend of just getting this thing ready.
That'll be fun. Right when the weather starts to change, I'll still have some of that cool boost weather, and we'll be tearing the tires off.
We got plenty of winter left. Don't worry.
Yeah.
The heat works in this thing, right?
Hopefully for the first time.
All right. So I guess since you guys have made it to the video so far, I guess I'll release a little bit of a secret that I didn't decide to do it until a couple days ago, and I guess a lot of you guys were expecting this.
What?
Take the camera.
Oh, I know the secret.
Surprise, surprise. So I figured this project going so well so far, and we can't just start off being weak. We have to go full nut. So.
Yeah, plus you guys have seemed to enjoy it tenfold compared to our expectations.
Which we're so stoked about, honestly. Yeah. Like the fact that you guys love this project is, we are so excited about it because we're having such a great time ourselves.
Yeah, and that gives us motivation to do it even better, even cooler, even faster.
So you guys know KATs are sick. Perfect balance between torque and power. Nothing crazy, but enough to have some fun. And I wanted to do a more budget setup. I didn't want to break the bank trying to turbo this thing. So I got a really good deal on a manifold local. It's actually a really pretty nice manifold. And if I can find the correct turbo, we should have enough room to make it all fit with everything. It's a little stressful, but we'll make it work just because everything's a little tight down there. I just honestly just seeing how the turbo manifold makes it look so much cooler.
Yeah, and even a radiator in it, right?
Oh yeah, so once we get the intercooler in there, all piped up and whatnot, it's gonna look pretty bad. So now that the rear is coming to an end-ish, I'm gonna start focusing more on the engine bay stuff, which should go really quick. Like, the easiest part of this engine swap is making the engine actually work in the car, like making the engine run and perform the way it should. That's the easy part. Making all the suspension stuff and everything in this car work is the hard part. So once everything shows up, we'll go pretty quick. And tomorrow, drop in the E36 down adjustants, and maybe we'll get right to work on the downpipe. Maybe we won't. I can't promise anything, but I really hope we do. So with that, we're gonna end it for today. Thank you guys for being patient with us and supporting all the content. So you guys know the deal. Like, comment, subscribe. Stay tuned for more content, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.